This song is actually a hymn by Philip Porter. It's rather simple, repetitive, and I'd like to invite you to sing it with me when it becomes familiar. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the wisdom and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the wisdom and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the wisdom and the power. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the wisdom strong body, gathered here in the wisdom and the power. Gathered here from the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the wisdom strong body, gathered here in the wisdom and the power. Spirit, draw near. Spirit, draw near. Spirit, draw near.
Thank you, Lea. That was beautiful. I loved your songs because you get us so we can sing along with you. So thank you. Again, I want to say welcome to everybody. And my name is Kathleen. I am the platform assistant today. And as you just heard, we had Lea Morris as our musician today. And she has plenty of instruments she is very talented with. And she also has words, like you saw, that are easy to learn. And so I'm looking forward to hearing more of Lea. And then we also have our very special speaker today, Cheryl Welsh-Charrier, who has been a member of this church since I think since it began. She always has very insightful stuff to teach us. And today her talk is when things backfire on us, but in a good way. Okay, that sounds really, really good. So I'm looking forward to that. So for our prayer, first prayer, I've chosen a poem by Jean-Pierre de Caussade called The Divine Will. It's short. The divine will is a deep abyss of which the present moment is the entrance. If you plunge into that abyss, you will find it infinitely more vast than your desires. Amen.
So in keeping with today's daily word of ease, I'm going to sing a song, a chant called Drop the Oars, inviting us to just as that poem suggested, to submerge ourselves in the moment, in trust. Drop the oars in the water, drop the oars in the water, drop the oars in the water and let go. Drop the oars in the water, Drop the oars in the water and ride with the flow. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water and let go. Yeah, let go. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water. Ride with the flow. Drop the oars in the water, children. Drop the oars in the water, children. Drop the oars in the water. Let go, let go. Drop the oars in the water, children. Drop the oars in the water, children. Drop the oars in the water. The flow, ride with the flow. Drop the oars in the water, children. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water. Ride with the flow.
Thank you, Kathleen, and thank you so much, Lea. I love both of them, but especially the first one, which is like a call to worship. Gather here in the mystery of the hour, gather here in the wisdom and the power, Spirit, draw near. So I was talking to Reverend Sandy after her recent surgery and said that Chick and I had been doing prayers and Reiki for her and a couple of other people we know who are going through health challenges. She commented that we must be pretty busy with that. I said that it doesn't take that much time, and besides, it backfires on me. And realizing that sounded a little negative, I added, but in a good way. In other words, I get the healing benefits from it as well. She said, that sounds like the title of a talk. So here it is, the Reverend Sandy inspired, when things backfire on us, but in a good way. And thinking about it, Unity's third principle came to mind. Human beings create their experience by the activity of their thinking. Everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought, co-creation. When things backfire on us in a good way, are we co-creating? If we pay attention and practice awareness, absolutely. In order to be in sync with this, we need to be willing to let go of known ways of being and allow new ways of being. How often do we get stuck in, but that's the way I've always done it? Or that's the way I was raised, or I'm too old to make a new habit and learn something new, or it will just confuse me and make everything seem harder. Known ways of being do seem to be hardwired into us. Praying and affirming for others backfires into praying and affirming for ourselves, and this pulls in principle 4. Prayer is creative thinking that heightens the connection with God-mind, and therefore brings forth wisdom, healing, prosperity, and everything good. I'm good with everything good. I don't know about the rest of you, but for much of my life, I didn't think of prayer as creative thinking. I just said the prayers I was taught. Now I lay me down to sleep and the Lord's Prayer come readily to mind. Kindness and consideration for others backfires into kindness and consideration for ourselves, which has a ripple effect, backfiring into the world. It's awesome in the true sense of the word to think that kindness and consideration for ourselves and others will translate into kindness and consideration globally. I didn't have anything to take notes with when Roy was speaking last week, so I listened to it again. And I love the idea of contemplating how we are kind and how we are kinded. Then there are things like restlessness, which can backfire into creativity. And it also works in the opposite direction. Judgment and resentment can backfire on us, but probably not in a good way. The law of mind action says, thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. This is where an awareness that known ways of being are not serving us comes in handy. So, how do we co-create with God? That's really a question that we each have to answer for ourselves. Yes, prayer and meditation are part of co-creation. In his booklet, Be Still, Emmett Fox says, now the object of prayer or treatment is just this very raising of the consciousness, and a good prayer is the instrument that enables us to do it. We need not expect to begin our prayer with a realization. If we already had a realization, we should not be needing the help of prayer. And a little later, a good prayer is a step ladder upon which we can gradually climb from a low level of fear, doubt, and difficulty to the spiritual height where these things melt away in the truth of life. How far up the step ladder are you willing to climb? And what would you like to see melt away in the truth, in the light of truth? From spiritual economics, there are two basic drives within every person, human and divine. Humanly, we seek to settle down, to be safe, to build fences, and to be secure. Divinely, we are created to express, to grow, and to extend our horizons. These two aspects of being can easily collide within us, causing confusion and tension and apprehension. The possible results of this collision are that it can backfire either positively or negatively. Negatively if it leads us to fear, positively if it leads us to faith. In Kate's message, she mentioned mysticism as a way we experience God. So the backfiring might be mystical and possibly even more so if it's negative. We often seem to gain more ground spiritually as we travel through difficulties and seemingly impossible challenges. Once again, we need to pay attention and practice awareness. And sometimes we don't get to co-creation until everything else in our lives backfires on us. The hell in the hallway again. 2 Corinthians 12 verses 9 tells us, it is when I am weak that I am strong. This reminds me of the song You Raise Me Up. When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. That's certainly true of our unity community. As we raise up others, we raise ourselves up. As we allow others to raise us up, we raise ourselves up. What goes around comes around. When a title for a talk comes to me, whether intuitively or, as in this case, through someone else, inspiration comes from many places. This is from the August 4th Daily Word. The word is grace. Whenever I reach beyond myself to offer support and sustenance to another, I am supported as well. The revealing word quotes John 1:17. Grace and truth came through Jesus Christ, and says, the real saving, redeeming, transforming power came to man through the work that Jesus did in establishing a new and higher consciousness in the earth. When things backfire on us in a good way, we experience grace. In Breathing Underwater, Richard Rohr says, praying is changing our operating system. I like to think of divine wisdom as my operating system, but sometimes I forget to open it and click on ego instead. Roy also said at times that when I'm in my head, I'm behind enemy lines. The operating system that many of us have worked out of through the ages is ego. Sometimes ego gone crazy and out of control. Richard Rohr says we're all addicts because we're addicted to ego. He calls it the universal addiction. Ego gone crazy or out of control happens to me when I'm behind enemy lines in my head. Hold on, I'm trying too hard to keep everything in control. So trying to control backfires on me, and that can be a good thing if I pay attention. Richard Rohr also says, grace is always a humiliation for the ego. This also from Richard Rohr. People who have moved from one seeming success to another seldom understand success at all, except a very limited version of their own. People who fail to do something right, even by their own definition of right, are often those who break through to enlightenment and compassion. In the book Radical Acceptance, Tara Brach talks about the Adam and Eve story, which on the surface seems to be telling us that we're sinners and therefore don't, quote, deserve to be happy, loved by others, at ease with life. We are outcasts. In this case, life backfired on us even before we were born. But the revealing word tells us that the Garden of Eden represents a region of being in which we are provided all primal ideas for the production of the beautiful. It represents the elemental life and intelligence at the disposal of man, and through which he is to evolve both mind and body. Okay, Charles Fillmore can be a little dense. Difficult might be another word. So I'm going to read that again. The Garden of Eden represents a region of being in which are provided all primal ideas for the production of the beautiful. It represents the elemental life and intelligence at the disposal of man, through which he is to evolve both mind and body. In Reverend Lafayette's classes, we learned that the Bible is the story of our journey from Adam consciousness to Christ consciousness, and that we needed to get kicked out of the Garden of Eden to start the journey. When life puts obstacles in our way and everything has been turned upside down, we have been backfired on in a big way. I don't know about the rest of you, but in my life's journey, I've had things turned upside down more than once. But once again, if we pay attention, and there are those two words again, pay attention, we are presented with opportunities to change and grow and deepen our faith. It gives us the opportunity to stop fighting or wallowing or regretting or resenting, insert your own path of avoidance and or resistance, and choose again. Find that wellspring of wisdom, hope, and faith within and choose again. Sometimes not getting what we want or what we think we want turns out to be the best thing that could happen. For me, one of the big things that felt like a failure was giving up the pursuit of a career in professional theater. I'd studied and worked really hard for it and spent a lot of money on it. 2 college degrees, acting lessons, dance classes, voice lessons. However, when the giving up happened, it freed up time to try other things, like taking a sign language class, which is how I met Chick. We always say that our marriage was made in heaven in Kitty Dunn's ASL 4 class. The thing that anchors us and backfires throughout every aspect of our lives is love. Christ consciousness allows us to tap into that anchor. Loving ourselves unconditionally allows us to love others unconditionally. The unconditional part can be tricky. When we place conditions, they can backfire on us negatively. There's a lovely story at the beginning of the August Daily Word about a rescue cat who would not eat his food until he'd had a pat on the head or a scratch behind his ears. Janet Templeton DeVries writes, lesson learned. We all need food to survive, but it always tastes better when served with love. But I discovered the lesson goes deeper still. Each of us needs love and courtesy every day. Maybe intentionally withholding such kindness from others is a kind of mistreatment. If we don't feel loved and respected, we're harmed emotionally. Without extending a kind of reverence to others, I came to understand we miss an opportunity to be nurturing. I remember Jesus's words, feed my sheep. Perhaps he meant to dish up love, respect, and compassion. Feeding time when viewed this way is never ending. We all need to be fed. Feeding ourselves both literally and lovingly opens the door labeled grace at the end of the hallway. When we step through it, we find ourselves at ease with ourselves and our lives. The August 20 daily word is about honoring God by being considerate to others. I am considerate of others' needs, knowing that the love of spirit can be accomplished through my considerate work. And it's not just the other person who benefits from that. Cynthia Bourgeau's The Heart of Centering Prayer, which greatly simplified, is a meditation practice where you let go of thoughts as they arise. In a workshop led by Father Thomas Keating, the originator of the practice, a nun lamented after the 20-minute centering prayer practice, "Oh, Father Thomas, I'm such a failure at this prayer. In 20 minutes, I've had 10,000 thoughts." Father Thomas's response, "How lovely. 10,000 opportunities to return to God." In One Breath at a Time, Kevin Griffin says, in meditation, we set our intention to be present to our experience and kind to ourselves. Then when our mind wanders or we become uncomfortable, we can remind ourselves why we are practicing and bring ourselves back to our present experience. This returning over and over again is the way we subvert the mind's habit of clinging to thoughts and feelings. Intention acts as the driving force behind our spiritual growth, a constant reminder of what to let go of and where to point our minds. While we will not sit in silence for 20 minutes, cross my heart, let's practice letting those intrusive thoughts backfire into returning us to Christ consciousness. With that, we will let our thoughts, our prayers take us into meditation. As we return from meditation, a benediction from 1 Thessalonians. May the God of peace make you whole and holy. May you be kept safe in body, heart, and mind, and thus ready for the presence. God has called you and will not fail you. And so it is.
Love, would you guide my feet? Love, would you light my path? Love, lead the way. Love, will you fill my needs? Love, will you do the math? Love, lead the way. Lead the way. Lead the way. love lead the way. When I don't know what I'm doing, when I'm holding fear at bay, love lead the way. When everything feels broken, when I'm holding fear at bay, love lead the way. Lead the way. Lead the way. And I will walk with trust today. In all I do, in all I say, I will follow. Love lead the way. I'm gonna sing that refrain one more time, and if you would sing it with me as a call and response, that would be beautiful. Lead the way, lead the way, lead the way, lead the way, and I will walk, and I will walk with trust today, with trust today. In all I do, in all I do, in all I say, in all I say, I will follow, I will follow. Love lead the way. Love lead the way. I know love will lead the way. Thank you.
For our closing prayer, I've chosen a poem called Thank You. It's by Ross Gay. If you find yourself half naked and barefoot in the frosty grass, hearing again the earth's great sonorous moan that says, you are the air of the now and gone, that says, all you love will turn to dust and will meet you there. Do not raise your fist. Do not raise your small voice against it. And do not take cover. Instead, curl your toes into the grass. Watch the cloud ascending from your lips. Walk through the garden's dormant splendor. Say only, thank you. Thank you. Amen.
We are so blessed here at Unity Center DC for extraordinary speakers, talented musicians who share with us each week their God gift, their message, their inspiration. And for us as recipients, I'd like you to take this moment and be grateful. If you want to express your gratitude by giving a gift to Unity Center DC, it's possible. We'll put up on the screen the options, but you can give online, you can mail a cash or a check to the address you'll see on the screen, so that we can continue this ministry, which has blessed us all. Thank you.